Welcome back, guys. Here we are. We are going to continue with our solving inequalities. Okay, so now this one we are solving what we call three-part inequalities. Now we need to be able to interpret it. We need to be able to solve one, graph it on the number line, and again, write an interval notation. Okay, so first of all, we need to interpret. Now, a three-part inequality is always have less thans. If you'll notice, all of these have less thans. And basically this because a three-part inequality means in between. And they're always with the small number on the left, the x in the middle, and the large number on the right. So what this first one actually means is x is between -2 and 4. X is between -2 and 4. Okay, and so when I do my graph, I'm going to color the numbers between -2 and 4. Okay, so those are my x's. I'm coloring the x's. All right, now these are both less thans. They're plain less than, so there's no equals here. So this is going to get an open or a parentheses, and the 4 is going to get an open or parentheses. All right, so that means x is between, and you don't have to read it any other way. You can say x is between -2 and 4. The number line is open on the ends, okay, because there's no equal. And so then the interval notation, remember, interval notation is left to right. So the left number is -2, the right number is 4, and there are parentheses on those numbers. And so this is the interval notation. Okay, so now the next one is the same thing. X is between 9 and 21. So we're going to color the numbers between 9 and 21. All right, now this one has equals. It's an equals on the 9. So I'm going to put a bracket. There's an equals on the 21. So I'm going to put a bracket. So this is going to be the interval notation. Okay, with the bracket 9 and then 21 with the bracket. Okay, so now the fraction one. X is between -3/4 and 7/8. Now we're just going to estimate with our fractions because I know you don't know them very well. So this is -3/4 approximately right there. You can't see that. Something's really weird with my tablet over here in this corner. Ooh, don't want to erase everything. All right, so here's -3/4, and there's an equals on it, so I'm going to color it. And then 7/8 is going to be between, it's going to be right there. Okay, and so here we go. Now there's not an equals on the 7/8. Okay, so there's an equal on the 3/4 and not an equal on the 7/8. So there we go. Okay, so this one right here is going to have a bracket on the -3/4 and a parentheses on the 7/8, and that's the interval notation for that. All right, so now just in context real quick, if I were to say from age 6 to 12, what would that mean? Okay, so let's look at that on a number line. So from age 6 to 12, would be the day you turn 6 till the day before you turn 13. All right, so in context, it would be the day you turn 6, so bam, there's an equal. until the day you turn 13, the day before you turn 13. So this would be 6 to the day you turn 13, because we're not equaling to 13. It's from age 6 to the end of your 12th year. So this is an interval. An interval is a range of time or a span of numbers. And so in context, this is what we're talking about. Okay. And so this one would be X is between that. Now I know it says 12 and I'm using 13, and I forgot my equals there. But I want you to understand what it means and when intervals are used and how to interpret them. Okay, again, that's part of one of the things we want to learn. And so just a little example here on, the bracket is equal the day you turn 6. The parentheses is not equal, but it's the day up till your 13th birthday. It's not 12, the day you turn 12. It's that whole year after you turn 12 until the day before 13. So that kind of maybe gives you some context to what this means. All right, so now solving these inequalities. Let's get into these. All right, so now before we just had the X in the middle by themselves, and that is continuing to what we want. The X is in the middle. So when we get into solving, we're going to try to get the X in the middle. Solve for the X in the middle. And so if you just think about it, I want to get X by itself, so I need to divide by 2. And that's going to give me my X in the middle. But this is an equation or inequality, and what I do to one part, I do to the other part. It's like having 3 children. I've got to do it on all 3 sections. And so that's what my answer is. Graph it on a number line. And this is X is between -3 and 3. There's no equals, so there'll be parentheses on both. And my interval notation would look like this. All right. Next one. We're going to get X by itself in the middle. So this is the middle. We got to get X by itself. So I'm going to add 1 first. And what I do in the middle, I do on the right and the left. And then I'm going to divide by 2. It's X in the middle. And what I do in the middle, I'm going to do on the right and on the left. So now my answer is the numbers between -11 and 1. And I've got equals on both ends. So I've got an equals here, so I'm going to bracket on the 11. I have an equals here, so I'm going to bracket on my 1. Doesn't look like a 1. And so for interval notation, -11, 1, and brackets on both. Okay, so now these with the fractions. All right, so we want to clear the fractions first. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4. Multiply everything by 4 to clear the fractions. Okay, so when I take -7 and multiply it by 4, get -28. 2 times 4 is 8. And now when I do this one, this is the one where the 4 cancels out, and I'm just left with the 1p. And then this one will give me 36. And again, I'm going to solve for p. Solve for p. I'm going to subtract 8 in the middle. I'm going to get p by itself in the middle. So I subtract 8 here. I've got to do it in the other 2 places as well. So this will give me -36, and this will give me 28. All right, do my number line. I've got -36, +28. I'm just not that careful about it. P is in the middle, so I color the numbers between them. And there's no equals on either one, so they're going to be parentheses. So my interval notation looks like that. All right, last one on this one. We're going to multiply everything by 7. We're going to multiply everything by 7, okay, because that's the denominator and I want it to go away. So when I do negative 9 times 7, I get negative 63. I multiply this one by 7, it cancels, and I just have the 7x minus 5. And then 2 times 7 is 14. All right, I'm going to continue solving. Again, I'm trying to solve for x in the middle. So I want to add 5 to both sides. Excuse me, add 5. That gives me 7x in the middle. And what I do there, I have to do over here. So that's going to give me negative 58 and 19. And then I'm going to divide by the 7. That gives me my x by itself in the middle, which is what my goal was. And I get fractions, and that's okay. That is perfectly fine. All right, so now let me get my number line. Like, I don't know what fractions are on the number line. Yeah, you do. You know where these are. How do I do that? It's very simple. This one's negative, so it's on this side of 0. This one's positive, so it's on this side of 0. And you're coloring the numbers in between. All right, so now do we have equals this time? Yes. So I'm going to have a bracket here because I have an equals. And this one is equals, so I'm going to have a bracket too also. So my answer in interval form looks like that. Okie dokie. Hopefully that's going smoothly. All right, this is video number 2. We're going to get into the compound inequalities next.